Hello everyone, my name is Kei, and I will be talking a little bit more about Kengo Kuma, some of his projects, and its connection to expanding the Canon. He is considered one of the most influential Japanese architects to this day. First, I'll begin with the timeline of his life so far. He was born on August 8, 1954 in Yokohama in the Kanagawa Prefecture, and he is currently 66 years old. The education he has gone through were first from the University of Tokyo. He got his Master's of Material Studies and graduated in 1979. And then he went on to Columbia University and then founded the Spatial Design Studio, which is now called Kengo Kuma and Associates in 1990, and it still continues to this day. He became a professor at the Graduate School of Architecture at the University of Tokyo in 2009. And in the future, he stated that my dream is to start my own school and pass my lessons on to younger generations in the same way that Frank Lloyd Wright did with his School of Architecture. So that's really nice to see that he had been inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright and wants to continue this sort of legacy of his own. So more about Kengo Kuma is that what's noticeable in many of his buildings is that he expresses the emotional content of materials and its meaningful connection to Japanese traditions. A fun fact of why Kengo Kuma got into architecture is when his father took him to visit the National Gymnasium for Tokyo Olympics of 1964, which was designed by Kenzo Tange when he was 10 years old. He wanted to become an architect ever since that. This is the building that I'm talking about. It's a beautiful concrete and steel building with a structural system that features a suspended roof. At the time, people were shocked by this advanced technology, which really inspired Kengo Kuma to pursue the field of architecture. And a fun fact is that he considers Kenzo Tange to be his godfather. Now, more on his design philosophy is that he has a deep respect for the environment and makes sure to design in harmony with nature. He prioritizes the materials as much more important than form, rather prioritizes local and natural materials and highlights them in their true form, whether it's wood, grass, bamboo, stone. In this quote, he basically states that before designing, he always begins by listening, observing, experiencing, or just feeling the site, and then starting from there. His goals are to create human, warm, and natural spaces to merge architecture and nature as much as possible. And you can see from this image here that is very noticeable. You can feel that vibe of just warm and natural spaces. So the three selected projects I will be going over that really signify and symbolize Kengo Kuma's philosophy is first the Marché Yusuhara, which is a combo market and hotel located in the small mountain town of Japan. The second one I'll be going over is the Besançon City of Arts and Culture, which was built in 2013. And then lastly, a very nice project called Nest We Grow, which was built in 2014. It's an open public structure to bring people in the community together. And the fun fact is that both Kengo Kuma and our College of Environmental Design at UC Berkeley worked together to create this great project. Now, the first one is this multi-purpose building that combines local produce with a small boutique hotel. And you can tell from the second image from here that he is really trying to emulate the natural environment by using the structural system to symbolize tree branches within the building. So the material used was inspired by this small tea house. The thatched roof is this traditional type of material used in the village. So then Kengo wanted to show this beauty of this material again in this small hotel. So the vernacular of this thatched block as part of the design of the facade works extremely well as it's a very good insulation material and control humidity as well. Now, the second project I'll be going over is the Besançon City of Arts and Culture, which is located in France. So before this was built, the site itself separated the city from the river. So the idea was to have this building as a gate to connect nature and city again. The landscape is basically designed to merge with the building, and then material-wise it is made of steel and wood. The facade reveals a semi-protected outdoor space with the incorporation of water and landscape. So it's very still open to nature and then becomes a sort of promenade for the city. And as a whole, it is connecting nature to the city center. And lastly, I'll be going over this building called Nest We Grow, which is located in Hokkaido, Japan. It's an open public structure made for people to store, prepare, and enjoy local foods. Its main intent is to bring people in the community together to store, prepare, and enjoy local foods in the setting of Hokkaido, Japan. So in this picture here, you can see that there's this beautiful wood frame structure. The idea was to mimic the vertical spatial experience of a Japanese larch forest from which food is hung to grow and dry. And the openness of the facade, as you can see from these images, is to incorporate the surrounding natural environment into the interior climate. But you can also close it off to create a buffer between the two. This is just another image of how they're hanging food. You can see how this building is very open to the public and how you can harvest, store, grow, cook, and compost things. Now expanding the canon. First, what is the canon? So it's basically a list of works considered to be established as the highest quality. There's many things that Kengo Kuma contributes to the canon, and first one is that he prioritizes local materials as well as a connection between the building and environment before form. He takes a lot of inspiration from light and nature as well as Japanese traditions and cultures to his designs, and he further stresses that the criteria for architecture after the tsunami is humbleness, and that's why he further highlights the importance of merging architecture with nature and social responsibility. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.